Hey everyone, Tommy here, and this is my friend Alejandro. You might know him from the Spider-Man courtesy fan film, which I actually worked on. I was the costuming PA on that fan film. I got to make the face shells and the lens sets that they used for the suits on that film. And that's where I got to meet Alejandro. And to be honest, he's been a super great guy. He's been a good friend and he's done a lot for me. So this year I'm gonna make him a little Christmas gift. Now when I got to hang out with Alejandro on the shoot, I figured out that we were both huge Super Sentai and Tokusatsu fans. Now if you don't know what Super Sentai is, it's essentially what Power Rangers is adapted from. And his favorite Super Sentai series is Go-Onger. Now me personally, I haven't watched a single episode of Go-Onger, but Power Rangers RPM, the series that Go-Onger is adapted from, is actually my favorite Power Ranger season, so I'm actually familiar with the suits. Now Alejandro's favorite Ranger from Go-Onger is Go-On Red, Sasuke. So for Christmas, I'm gonna make him the Go-On Red suit. Now today is November 23rd.
Oh, hell no!
I have about a month to make this suit in time for Christmas. Well, you might be saying, well Tommy, why didn't you just start making the suit like a month or two ago? I'm gonna try hard, I like a challenge, and I know I can complete this in a month. So to start off, we need to source some parts, and the first part that we need to source is the helmet file. Now this file is from Uprising FX 3D on Etsy. I've actually used some of their files before for some other Power Rangers projects, and these are the most accurate helmet files that you can probably get on the market. But the problem with these files is that they're not really cosplay friendly. They're just scans of the helmets that were used on the suits themselves. They don't have the visor detached. They're not split up into two halves like the actual suit helmets are. So we're gonna have to do some editing to these files. So fair warning, if you're gonna try this out for yourself and use any of Uprising FX 3D's files in general, you're gonna want some mesh mixer experience. Luckily, Frankly Built has a video on how to separate different parts of a file, not just do plane cuts. So you can do that, and that's exactly what I did for this helmet. So this is the file in Mesh Mixer, and as you can see, it's just a scan of the actual helmet used on the show. It's not split up in any way. The visor is still built into it. The vent holes are still built into it, and it's not cut in half so that you can actually fit your head in the helmet. And if we go to separate shells, you can see that there's no shells to actually separate. So we do have to actually do some creative cutting here, some extrusion, some extracting in order to get the visor out, get the vent holes out, and we're just do a plain cut right down the middle. And that's exactly what I did with this file. So essentially what I did was I extruded the visor and the vent holes in the front of the face of the helmet, and then just created a different mesh out of that, and then used the Boolean difference tool in order to subtract it from the file itself. So the file doesn't have a visor anymore, and it has those vent holes so that way Alejandro can breathe. I also plain cut it right down the middle so that way it opens front and back like a regular Power Ranger helmet would. It's just gonna close with clasps. So if you open up Kira and import the file, as we can see here, we have the front of the mask. Now me personally, I usually don't print helmets like this or face shells like this or anything that's like goes on your head. I usually just flip it upside down and print it like a bowl. But most Power Ranger makers who do 3D print helmets will actually just print it on its back. So if we just take it and rotate it, so it'll print just like this. Now I'm gonna print this at a very high quality, at a 1.2. And that's gonna allow for the beak, for the headlights, for the logo, and for everything to print really, really well and really minimize the sanding work, because this is a really detailed file actually. This helmet looks pretty simple and it has a lot of smooth surfaces on it, but the tiny details on it make it really, really hard to sand. So we're just gonna print it at a very high quality, rely on our filler primers, and make sure that we can print this with minimal amount of work. Now, as you can see, this is gonna take about 3 days to print. Now that does seem pretty excessive, especially if you are one of those people that has like a high speed printer. I don't. This is my Elegoo Neptune 3 Max. All my printers are just regular speed printers. And that's just a sacrifice you're gonna have to make when you have those kinds of machines and when you're printing at such a fine quality. It's just gonna take a lot longer. It's also gonna use about half a roll of filament, which is fine. That's to be expected for something like this. It's a pretty dense helmet. And as you can see here, I'm using tree support, so that way the supports break away really easily. And I'm using a brim. So that's exactly how I printed the front of the helmet. Now, as for the back half of the helmet, same drill. We're just gonna lay this on its back, just like we did for the front of the helmet. You can see that this is gonna take a little bit less time. Again, this is at 1.2 millimeter layer height, which is probably overkill for the back of the helmet, but we're just gonna keep things consistent and just use the same layer height. It's also gonna use almost half a gram of filament, so we're looking at about a roll and a half to do this helmet. The other half that I'm talking about is gonna be for the visor, which I'm gonna talk about in a minute. But again, print settings are exactly the same. Using tree supports again, and using a brim for the edge of the helmet here, so that way those two halves can really line up together nicely. Now I know what you're thinking. What are you gonna use for the visor? Now for the visor, we're actually gonna make a vacuum form buck in order to vacuum form the visor so that way it's the correct shape. So if you look here in Kira, I actually created a visor geometry in Mesh Mixer. I just extruded the shape of the visor from the original helmet file, gave it a little bit of thickness, and this is an exact copy of what that visor would be. Now, in order to make a vacuum form buck out of this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this on its back, just like we did for the helmets. Again, we're gonna use a 1.2 millimeter layer height because I don't wanna spend that much time sanding this. And we're gonna increase the infill of the part to 100%. And that's so that the part doesn't deform or warp when we actually put it in the vacuum former, because there's a lot of heat and pressure that comes with that. So we want the part to stay exactly the way it is while we're vacuum forming it. Now that's just for the visor itself, but for the support density, I'm increasing the support overhang angle to 0 because I want the whole entire thing supported, and I am increasing the support density to 95%. Now the support density is essentially just the infill that the supports are printed at. Normally you want this at like 5 or maybe even like 3% so that the supports break away easily, but since we're doing a vacuum form buck where we want everything to hold solid, we're going to print this at a 95% support density. We don't need to go 100%, 95 should work fine as long as the part itself is 100% for vacuum forming, but that's what we're gonna do in order to create the buck. You can see here everything is supported, all the angles are supported, which is what we want for this. Again, this is really backwards for anyone who knows anything about 3D printing, but because we want everything to be solid for the vacuum form buck, this is what we want. So as you can see here, everything is gonna print here completely solid. All the supports are just supporting all the angles, and this is gonna create a great vacuum form buck that we're gonna sand and vacuum form over. Now, as you can see, this is gonna take, again, almost 3 days, and it's gonna take almost a full roll of filament, but again, small layer height, 100% infill, just the price that you're gonna pay for something like this. So this is a pretty expensive helmet when it comes to filament, but filament costs like $13. I'm using PLA Plus, so 2 rolls of that, 3 rolls of that, not too bad for something like this. And that is exactly how I printed all the parts for this helmet. So now that all the parts of the helmet are printed, we need to fill and sand all of the parts. You guys know this process. I've done it for the Iron Man suit. Plenty of makers have made videos on how to properly sand and paint 3D prints. So as we go over the footage of me doing that, let's talk about the other things that we need for the suit. So pretty much every single Power Ranger design has a belt, and they have a specific design for that belt, specifically the belt buckle. Now, normally there are STL files for that sort of thing, but I was just looking at 3D printing it myself and just finishing it like the helmet. But in this case, there just aren't that many belt buckles for Go-Onger or RPM, which is really, really strange to me. So I got to thinking, and then I thought, okay, maybe Japan has a toy of the actual belt that holds like the engine soles and has the belt buckle. And little did I know, they actually do. So I went on eBay and I purchased this belt. This is the actual belt that was released in Japan for like the kids. It has the engine sole pouches, so that way they'll actually be functional. They'll actually hold the engine soles, so we don't have to make those. And it has the full-size belt buckle. So what I went ahead and did is buy this, and I'm gonna remove the belt buckle, remove the pouches, and then just add them to my own belt, which I'm gonna make out of foam and leather. So that's the belt taken care of. But what about the morpher? So there's no really point in making the morpher or 3D printing it. We just want it to be functional, look like the way that it is. And luckily, Japan also came in handy here. So Japan releases all versions of their morphers for all their Sentai series. And in this case, it's called the Go phone. So we needed the morpher, but we also needed the pouch that the morpher sits in because it actually hangs on Go-On-Red's belt when he has the full suit on. So luckily I was able to find this listing. This is the actual toy that they released in Japan for the Go phone. It's not one-to-one with the show itself, but it's close enough. It'll work for our purposes. And it comes with a pouch. Now this did ship from Japan, so it's gonna take a little while to get here, but should still be here in time for Christmas. Now we're also gonna need some PETG clear plastic in order to vacuum form the visor. Now this is the seller that I use for buying all my PETG plastic for vacuum forming. They're really reliable. I highly recommend if you are a vacuum former and you need clear PETG, go with this seller. They're based in the US and they're always super reliable. So for the other things that we're gonna need for the suit, we're gonna need to make the boots. Now, typically you can go to Cosplay Studio Boheme. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce their name. They make the best Power Ranger boots, period. But they're based in the Philippines. They're really expensive. The turnaround time is really long. I don't got the time. I don't got the money for that right now. So we're gonna make our own boots. So looking on Amazon here, I found these casual leather suede slip-on boots for men. I'm gonna order these in Alejandro's size, and we're gonna make boot covers out of them. Now these boots in particular look very Power Ranger-esque. The soles themselves look like the ones that are used in the show, and the shape of them also looks correct. They don't have any laces, they're just slip on, and that's exactly what we're looking for the boots themselves. So these will be the perfect base shoe to create some boot covers. Now, in order to create the boot covers, we're gonna need some vinyl. You could also use leather, but leather is more expensive than vinyl, so I'm just using marine vinyl. So we're gonna need some red vinyl for the boots, and we're gonna create the boot covers and the cuff covers out of EVA foam. And we're also gonna need some white vinyl for the cuffs. Now for the suit, we're also gonna need some white Power Ranger gloves. Now it's typically just easier to buy these instead of making them. For the gloves that they actually use on the Super Sentai show in Japan, apparently they ordered them from this company called Kakazan. But they are based in Japan, they're really expensive, and the turnaround time, again, would be really, really high. So I found this seller on Etsy that has Power Ranger gloves in stock. These are designed by a seller named ET Cosplay. They're based in Georgia, fair price, $56 for a pair of gloves, and they can ship immediately. So we're gonna add this to cart. Now, for the suit itself, we're gonna need a pattern for the suit. Now, most Power Ranger designs have the same general suit pattern. They of course have like different designs on them, but the bodysuit pattern really remains the same. Now, luckily, Designs by Deca, otherwise known as the Deca Mexican, who's also a friend of the channel and a friend of the cosplay page, is a huge Power Ranger cosplayer. This guy makes some of the best Power Ranger bodysuits ever. Now, I'm not gonna commission his bodysuits, but on his Etsy page, he does have the hero suit pattern for sale. Now, this is for the Zoo Ranger, like Mighty Morphin design. We don't need like the diamonds or anything like that. We basically just need a red bodysuit with like the white racing stripes on the arms. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this pattern and we're gonna alter it so that way it works to our liking. Again, this is $33, super fair price for something like this. I'm gonna be able to use this for a ton of suits going forward. So we're gonna add it to cart. Now, luckily, Designs by Deca also sells the underhood pattern for the suit. That's the thing that Alejandro's gonna wear underneath the helmet to hide his neck. So we're gonna sew that ourselves. It's gonna be $7, add to cart. And again, Designs by Deca also sells the arm cuff patterns. He also sells the patterns for the boots as well. So we're gonna add this to cart and create that out of marine vinyl. So as far as the fabric itself goes for the spandex, as you can see, I've already added to cart all the fabrics that we need for this suit. I'm going for the shinier spandex because the spandex that they use in the Super Sentai series typically is a little bit more shiny and a little bit more metallic than the ones that they use in America. I just like that look better, so we're gonna go with that. As you can see, I've already purchased some from My Textile Fabric. These guys are really good, purchase from them all the time for all my fabrics. And I'm gonna order a couple yards of all the colors that I need. And I'm also gonna order some silver spandex for like the strap seat belts that are on the suit, as well as the collar. And that's it, shopping spree over. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna finish the helmet, make sure that's sanded, painted, and finished. And then we're gonna sew the bodysuit, so the boot covers and the cuffs and everything. And then once we have that and we receive all the toys in the mail, then it should just be doing some assembly work, doing some foam work, and then the suit should be done. So let's get to it. All right, so now we have the visor fully vacuum formed. It's all cut out now. So now we need to actually dye this because it's not smoked yet. So in order to do that, we got our good old friend, Mr. I Dye Poly. If you see my tutorial on how to dye spandex fabric, this is the same product that I use in that tutorial. But since it's a polyester dye, we can use it for dyeing PETG plastic. So I'm gonna create the dye bath, and we're going to dye the visor by submerging it in the dye bath for a couple of minutes, and that should give it the black smoke look. Once the helmet was fully sanded, I hit it with a gloss black base coat along with the red and all the other colors that were needed for the helmet, and then hit it with the Duplicolor 1K clear coat to finish it off. For the boots, I use a duct tape pattern over my leg and the shoe itself, and then I just drew on the pattern to what I thought was the Power Ranger pattern that they used for the boots on the show. Then I transferred that pattern onto marine vinyl and sewed all the boot covers up. And then for the tread boot cuffs, I used EVA foam and then just free-handed my own pattern on it to make it look like a tire tread. Pinned that with Plasti Dip and then just glued that onto the boot covers themselves. As for the shoes themselves, again, these are the same shoes I mentioned that I bought on Amazon, and I just used E6000 to glue the boot covers onto the shoes themselves. I pinned all the edges in place to keep everything secure and let that cure overnight. So today is November 30th, and if I look tired and disheveled, it's because I am. I've been here at the local makerspace until about 2 in the morning for the last 2 or 3 days or so, just getting work done and just making sure that we're staying on track. Now, luckily, we seem to be ahead of schedule, As you can see, I've gotten boots done and I've gotten the helmet done. I'm actually really proud of how the boots came out in particular. They really do look like Power Ranger boots. The helmet, I think, could use some improvement, but for the time period that we have to do things, I don't think it looks that bad at all. And it should fit Alejandro's head pretty okay. So we have a couple more things to do. Some more stuff needs to come in the mail. The toys should be coming in this week, and as well as the fabrics. I've already printed out all of the patterns for the bodysuit and the underhood and everything. So all it's gonna take is just gonna be tracing out those patterns onto fabric and make sure we can sew the bodysuit, but that's probably about a day or two worth of work. And yeah, so we should be in a pretty good spot right now. Okay, so today is December 4th, and we've run into a few hiccups. First one being that's the belt buckle and the pouches that I bought on eBay for the toy. That's not coming. So as you saw before, I ordered the belt buckle and the pouches of the Japanese toy for Go-Onger, and I got the shipping notification and I got the tracking number, but it never updated past the label being created. I reached out to the eBay seller. They said that they dropped it off, but USPS must have lost the package or just never scanned it in. They gave me a full refund, not their fault. But I don't have a belt buckle yet. But luckily, I posted onto my Instagram saying, hey, I need a 3D modeler that can do this in like the next 3 days. Just needs to model the belt buckle, model the pouches, that way I can resin print them, paint them up, and use them for the project. Now, luckily, after just 2 hours, I got in touch with Zach 3D, who's a great 3D modeler. He usually does stuff for wireframe 3D. And he said, yes, of course I can do the project in the next 2 or 3 days. Should be pretty simple. And these are the files that came out of it. So I'm gonna print these this weekend. These are gonna be way better than the toy that I was gonna get in the first place. So thank you very much, Zach 3D, you rock. Now the second thing, also related to shipping. Again, I got a shipping notification for the red and white and black fabrics that I bought on Etsy, but the problem is they haven't dropped it off yet. Again, I order from My Textile Fabrics on Etsy all of the time. They're usually really good with shipping, but Thanksgiving just passed and they gave me the shipping notification and a shipping label was created, but they haven't dropped off the fabrics to the post office yet. Now, normally this would be a problem. It's still December 4th. But here's the thing, Alejandro is coming to visit for Ocean City Comic Con, which is December 13th, and he's coming on December 12th.
Oh, hell no!
Okay.
And obviously, those fabrics are not gonna come in time. So I went to Michael's, who actually bought Joann's fabrics, rest in peace, and they actually carry most of the fabrics that the Joann stores were selling. And of course, they had the Yaya Han 4-way stretch spandex in stock. So I got the rest of their stock of the red. They had just shy of 3 yards, which is exactly what I need to finish the suit. And I also got 2 yards of their white. Now, this was infinitely more expensive than the stuff I paid for on Etsy. Like, this cost like $16 per yard. So I ended up spending like $70, $80 on new fabric. Totally not necessary. Don't recommend that you do this, but I need the fabrics in order to complete the project, so I have them in my hand. These fabrics are also not as shiny as I hoped. The ones I ordered on Etsy should be much shinier, much closer to the Sentai version of the suit, but it'll do the same job. This fabric is still pretty high quality, even though it's way overpriced. Thank you, Yaya Han. Now, of course, some other things have come in the mail. The gloves themselves from ET Cosplay have come in the mail, and these are super great, super high quality, and they feel absolutely perfect. Obviously, the custom cuffs with the tire tread pattern are going to go over the wrist, but overall, these gloves are just amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better product, so thank you very much, ET Cosplay. Some other stuff has come in the mail too. For example, this is the Go phone. This actually got delivered within the span of like a little over a week from Japan, which is super convenient. It has the pouch, so this is gonna go right on Alejandro's belt. Like, it can flip open, it can pop open just like the one in the show, and it has a little engine sole on the inside of it. I think that's what they call it in the show. In the States, we call this an engine cell. And he can put it back in, close it, and he can do his little henshin transformation or morph. And the last thing that came in the mail is this. This is the front emblem for Alejandro's suit. Now, I knew for a fact that I could not make this myself. The way that's made in the suit, it's obviously embroidered with some spandex fabric on the inside of it. That's just a little bit beyond my skill level. Now, luckily, Rav Seams, who creates some of the best Ranger bodysuits ever, sells the emblems on their own on their website. So I reached out to Rav. I asked him, hey, do you have Go-Onger's front emblem available? And he said, yes, I can get it to you in a week. He actually got it to me sooner than that, so shout out to Rav. And this is gonna go right in front of Alejandro's bodysuit. Now, normally you're supposed to stitch this on, or I believe some of the stunt suits that they use on RPM actually have this Velcroed on the back, so that way it can like come off of the chest when they need to. I don't know why you would need to do that. But in our case, I just want to keep things clean. I don't really want to spend the time stitching this to make it look clean. So we're just going to E6000 this onto the chest. Not a huge deal. And it'll just be stuck on there. So in short, it's Thursday. I work until Saturday, and then I go back to the makerspace then. And I have to sew the whole bodysuit, hopefully do the belt in time, hopefully finish the suit by the end of Sunday, because if I don't, then I have to work a little bit over the week after work in order to get the suit done in time. But I'm pretty confident that everything will be done in time for Alejandro for Ocean City Comic-Con on the 13th. I can't wait for him to see everything. There's gonna be a lot of work ahead, but let's get to it. So today is December 27th, and obviously a lot of stuff has happened since then. The main thing being that Alejandro did not come on December 12th, which was honestly a blessing in disguise. And the reason for that is because I got sick, like really, really sick. I got the flu, it took me out of work for like a week. It was just awful. So I had to stop working on the suit for a little while. And then he said, no worries, I had something come up too, so I'll see you after Christmas. And he's coming tomorrow, so I still have a little bit of work to do on the suit. I got the whole entire bodysuit sewn up with all the racing stripes and everything on it. That took way longer than I thought it was going to. The foam straps, the seatbelt buckle straps, and the belt still need to be done, and the cuffs still need to be done. But once all that is complete, this suit will be ready for Alejandro tomorrow. So today is December 28th, and Alejandro.
Yes, Tommy.
You're here.
I am here.
You're finally here.
I know.
Do you have any idea what I've been doing for the last month?
I've been working on a project that you've been hinting at and telling me that you listen to me and stuff. And honestly, I'm very nervous, excited, and I just can't wait to see what this is.
Okay, that tells me nothing. I'm really asking you, do you know at all what this could be?
Do you want me to guess?
Sure.
I'm gonna give you a guess.
Go ahead.
Okay. My number one guess, and I didn't even tell you this, what my guess is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess this is a Power Rangers costume.
No.
Why the you lying?
No.
I was wrong. Oh, have a good day. Bye. Sorry, I was wrong.
You think I can make a Power Rangers costume in a month?
Yes.
Seriously?
You're Tommy.
All right, buddy. Merry Christmas.
Oh my God. All right, which one do you want me to open first?
So we're gonna do this top one first.
Just top one first? Okay.
You're definitely gonna open this one first, and then
Okay.
the second part of it is in this bottom one.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It's all you, brother.
All right. This is so nerve-wracking.
No, go ahead. It's all you.
Once again, dude, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
You know, I'm very excited to see what this is, and I can't wait to just see it, wear it. I'm excited. Okay, we go. Month of Tommy's life. Let me see this.
Yep.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't looked at it yet.
We literally talked about this. Yes, we did. we went out to eat crabs, and he was talking about how he wanted to be Go-On Red, and there we go.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm the last for words. Go-On Red is my favorite Super Sentai, or Go-Onger is my favorite Super Sentai, and I've always wanted to be Go-On Red. And I did tell you this. I did tell you this in the car.
I remember.
There's two. It's either Go-On Red for Super Sentai, or it's gonna be Wild Force Power Rangers. Dude, I can only assume what's in that box now.
Well, you gotta see what's in the other box.
Dude, I'm like shaking.
Dude,
shaking.
it's all you, man.
Holy shit, dude. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. Dude, how the fuck did you do that?
Merry Christmas, man.
No! What? Dude. Wait, you did everything?
Yes.
Everything?
The full suit.
Everything? All right, Power Morphicon?
Power Morphicon,
Power
baby.
Morphicon for
Let's
Thursday?
do it.
What the How did you... Dude, this... Oh my God. Dude. Oh my God, thank you so much, dude.
You're very welcome.
I'm at a loss for words, dude.
So everything was made from scratch. Bodysuit was made from scratch.
Oh my God.
The boots were made from scratch. Seat belts, the belt. The only thing that wasn't made from scratch is the Go foam.
Dude, this is perfect, dude. Holy shit. And then you got the engine soul stuff in there. You can put that in there.
The emblem is commissioned by Rav Seams. If you remember on my Instagram, I asked Zach3D to do the belt buckle here.
Oh my god, dude.
So that's all resin printed. The seatbelt straps are EVA foam wrapped in spandex, just like the show.
Can I try it on?
Yeah, man, let's try it on.
I want to try it on.
Go-Onger.